Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night wherever you are in the world. Hey everybody, welcome back to RC with Adam. My name is Adam, and today we're doing a live stream. We're doing a little lively live stream as we usually do on Saturdays. Thank you so much for joining me, everybody, in the chat. I see we got some people in the chat, and feel free to jump in there and say hello and ask questions if you have questions or something like that. I have a question for you. How does this stream look? Can you hear me okay? Because I've been tweaking around with some different settings in OBS and trying to figure out what the heck I'm doing, and I want to make sure it's presentable for you fine folks out there. Also, speaking of hearing things, behind me, which I think actually looks pretty cool like that, you'll see a 3D printer, and it is printing right now. Can you guess what it's printing? We'll talk about that in a second. But anyway, it's so if it's, I don't know, just ignore it if you can hear it. Welcome. I see we have, is that Aussie? It's Aussie, right? I'm sorry, I can't remember if it's Oguzen. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm sorry, but I think that's Aussie, unless I'm getting you mixed up with somebody else. Anyway, this person says, assembling my drone right now. What a coincidence. That's pretty cool. What are you assembling? I'm dying to know. We got Cody, we got Frags, we got, that's it for right now, but I'm glad to have you guys today. We are going to be talking about some FlySky stuff. We're going to be talking some things that have been coming to my mind lately. Probably will be videos of things soon to come. And nothing crazy, just like pretty simple stuff. And we're going to be talking about some flight footage, and we're going to be talking about I don't know, just a bunch of different stuff. We're just going to kind of hang out and have a good time. Oh, also, and the flight footage we're going to be looking at will be flight footage from this little guy right here, just like that. Can you see that okay? I think you kind of can. This is the little Cinewhoop that I built, that I have filmed the building of it, and it will be a video eventually, but I don't know. Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. But first, I just want to give a little update, and shout out again for anybody who's interested, who has been interested in the what am I doing here? I gotta change something here. I need to get into my camera and change something. There we go. That's a little bit better, maybe. Is that better? I don't know. I think it is. So hopefully you can see me. Hopefully you can see me and things that I'm holding up better. So check this out. Can you guess what this is? It looks really cool. I don't know. I don't think it looks as good on the camera with this lighting, but I think it looks super sweet. I see we have Luca. Luca has joined. Hello, Luca. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. So this is, so just a quick update. This is what I have printed out so far, or the largest piece of the Mini Hawk 5 VTOL flying wing that is being designed and built by Steve Carlson. In fact, let me just bring up this right here. Let me search this thing. I love how prepared I am for these live streams. It's super great. So let me see if I can find the Mini Hawk. You can find it on YouTube, the Mini Hawk VTOL. Maybe you can't, because there aren't actually. All right, let's do this. I know you can't see the screen, but I'm going to show you in just 1 second. Well, okay, I guess there's that. Oh, all right. Let's go over there. So anyway, on YouTube, this is what it looks like. That's the VTOL. That's my video of it. But I was trying to find Steve's. YouTube channel, but you search, or I think, oh, I didn't spell his name right. That might be part of it. All right, I don't know. I'll have to put a link somewhere in the description or something like that. But anyway, I just wanted to show you guys that because that is a cool project, and he has kind of given me the opportunity to print these files before he releases it. And so this is what the fuselage looks like, or I guess it's the nose. Anyway, but it has, I printed this little hatch right here in clear PLA. So it just lifts up like that. It's not all assembled yet. Normally this would be one piece, but I haven't assembled it. So anyway, just an update on that. I'm slowly working towards printing all of the parts. I'm actually not very happy with how this one turned out because this filament, actually this is a problem I need to fix, which is that my filament has too much moisture in it. So I need to fix that. But can I do this? Will this work? Oh yeah, check that out. Boom, zoomed in just like that. And I'm gonna lose my focus. Anyway, so this one, or maybe I should just get closer to you. I will get this right. Everything's backwards. There we go. You can see it has some cracks along the lines. If I can figure out which way to put this. Lines right there, the layer lines. So just poor layer adhesion, and I think it's due to moisture. Excess moisture content, which is bad, very bad for 3D printing. But unfortunately, there's a lot of moisture in the air where I live, which is the southeastern United States. Anyway, so I think that looks super cool. And what is printing behind me right there, you can see, is the wing. So I'm actually printing out one of the wings. That is like, well, for the settings that I have, which maybe they're like kind of slowpoke settings, is like, oh, it looks so good. It's going to be like 15 hours or 14 hours, I think, to print all of it. So it's going to be a while, but I've got the time lapse set up and stuff. So eventually, when it's ready to release and stuff, I'll have some cool build footage, hopefully. But anyway, that was just a little update on the Mini Hawk 5, and it will be, I believe, all the plans and everything, the files will be free, I believe, unless he chooses to make them not free, which is totally up to him, of course, since he did, you know, build everything. Ah, delicious. Delicious. All right, so how we doing, everybody? How's everybody doing? I would love to hear your questions, your RC related questions, and just pop in the chat whatever. What's your big win lately? What's your big RC win that we can just be inspired by? And, I mean, it doesn't have to be super inspirational, but I mean that we can celebrate with you, that you're like, oh wow, I figured this thing out, and now I know something more than I did before. What is that for you? Let me know. Arnob Vlogs, I see you. I see we have Arnob Vlogs. We got Niblinks. We got, I think that's it. This chat actually doesn't move as fast as I think. It just throws me off with the way it bumps it up. But anyway, welcome. Welcome. We're going to have a fantastic time today. Yeah. And Blink says, any experience with open.hd? No, none. I've never heard of it before in my life. That's the first time I've ever heard of that, so I have no clue. Let's see here. Let's see. Ozzy says he's recording a video of his drone, but probably won't be ready until next time. Or it will probably, yeah. Well, what is it though? What is it? What kind is it? Tell us. Tell us what size of a quadcopter it is. So, all right, let me just get right into this because we've been it's been a couple minutes already, but thanks for hanging out with me anyway. So one thing I want to do, I want to give you guys a little bit of value if I can, and I want to talk FlySky for a second, because I know a lot of people, I mean, I'm kind of the FlySky guy, and because when I fly FlySky, I fly FlySky because I'm a FlySky guy. You know, but not to disparage any other brands or whatever. But a lot of people that watch my channel like FlySky stuff, and a question I get all the time is either, well, there's one question which is like my Betaflight isn't connecting to my quadcopter or something like that, which we're going to talk about in a separate video because that's going to take like a little bit of time for troubleshooting. But the second most asked question that I get is like, I'm trying to bind this receiver with this transmitter, will it work? Or it's not working and I can't figure out why. And also another question that I get, well, let's take care of that question first. So that question, so figuring out receivers, do receivers match up, or how do you tell if receivers will match up to certain FlySky radios? Because there's some different sort of generations of protocols and stuff that don't all match up. So what we're going to do, we're on the FlySky website right here, and we're going to go to products, and in here, let's see if we go to receivers right there, receivers. Now you see, first of all, this is actually pretty helpful. They have the AFHDS, which stands for automatic frequency hopping digital system. Shoot, I thought, no, okay, I'm blanking out on that one. I was going to say automatic frequency hopping disorder something, but that's anyway. So anyway, you have AFHDS 3, which is their newest one, which is not backwards compatible, which I don't like that, but I mean, you know, you can only do so much from a technical engineering standpoint, right? And then there's AFHDS 2A. Do I have my, I don't know how, you can see it. I'm not going to try and write on the screen right now. AFHDS 2A and then AFHDS. So AFHDS is like the old stuff, and that's for like typically like ground vehicles. AFHDS 2A is like the most common. I'm not sure what this whole ANT thing is, to be honest. But anyway, if we go in here and actually, so there's that, and then what I'm actually looking for is I think it's in, where is it? Is it frequently asked questions? Well, isn't that silly? Maybe we need to go air. Do we need to go air? What I'm looking for is a chart, and I specifically wanted to do this on the website instead of just having it pulled up, so that way you could actually see how to get to the chart. But now it turns out I have forgotten where the chart is. But there is a chart. There is a chart to this, and where would it be? Let's go to frequently asked questions, which is coming up on. All right, you know what? No, we're just gonna search it because now I'm like, oh, I don't remember where it is. All right, so we're just gonna search FlySky receiver compatibility table, I think is what it's called. And I also like to search things. Sometimes I like to show you how I search things, because it's almost kind of a skill in itself. And apparently this is not working. Okay. Yeah, see, there should be a link to that. Okay. Wow. Well, we are off to a super great start right now. Super great start. I love it when this happens, when I'm live streaming and I can't figure out where something is. Okay, so dang it, no, I gotta finish that question. So anyway, let's go to products. I know this chart was here somewhere. I know it was. Like, is it maybe if I click on a transmitter and then, oh no, maybe I need to click on the receiver, go to the receiver. So let's say let's click on like the new one, the FSI, the X14S. Right, I know it's here somewhere. Specifications. Oh, that's all. It's just taking me to the same one. How silly is that? All right, there's a chart out here. Hang on, let me, I think I had it up here somewhere. I will find it. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. I'm still kind of smart. Okay. All right, I got the link from another window. So let me put this in here, and you can just like find this, or there we go. Ta-da! Yay! First try. That's what I'm talking about. Let's make this way larger so that you can actually see this. But anyway, here's a chart right here. If I can figure out. Oh yeah, there we go. Boom. So there's a chart. So this chart tells you FlySky transmitter and receiver compatibility table. So what you have on the left side is the protocol. It's kind of a weird chart the way it's set up. And so that's, you have transmitter, and then you have the receivers is what you have along the top. You have the receivers. Along the left hand side you have the transmitter. And you can see here it says like stick and wheel and stick, and so if it's a wheel, it's going to be for like an RC car. Although I wonder if you could like even, could you fly an airplane with one that has a wheel, like that's meant for a ground vehicle? I don't know, but it might be fun to find out. That could be kind of cool. Anywho, that's how you figure it out. So a lot of times people will say like, hey, you know, I have this, I want to use, you know, I want to use, let's see, something that's like not compatible, like the oh, there we go. Okay, so down there, the AFHDS 2A, and they'll say, I have this, you know, i6X, and I want to use it with, you know, this GR3A, and it's like, well, no, you can't. You can't do that. You can use it with these guys, the AFHDS, all of these, which are older versions, and I've used the GR3E, which, you know, it's not super great, but it's cheap, and it does work for especially for like a backyard airplane type of thing, not for a quadcopter. And then, you know, like this one, and it's like, oh, what about this guy? So this is a IR4. Well, you can't do it. It's not gonna work for that one. And oh, that's actually interesting. Wait, did I just learn something? Oh, I may have, because I had not noticed before that the i6S is not compatible with AF. Oh wait, I think I did know that. I think that, you know what, that's an okay, so we're going to talk about that. But anyway, that's the chart. There's the chart there for you. Hope that helps clear some things up. And you know, again, I'm gonna have a video talking specifically about all this stuff, because it does get asked so much, and so people, it's a confusing thing. And that chart is not easy to find, obviously. I guess that's totally what I was trying to demonstrate, was that the chart is not easy to find. So totally on purpose. Let me see what's going on in the chat. Let me answer any questions that you have. Not any questions, but like most of the questions, or something like that. All right, what do we have going on here? How did I miss that? Sometimes I just miss your questions. Sorry about that. So if you have a specific question for me, tag me at RCwithAdam, because sometimes I just don't. I just miss them. Cody Essay says, which, yeah, somehow I missed Cody Essay, or no, I didn't. Anyway, Cody Essay. You ever going to fly fixed wing again? Yeah, actually, yes. Yeah, of course I am. Come on. But yeah, you're right. It's been a while. Like, it's been a long while. In fact, I was watching some old videos of just like from my older videos is what I was watching. And I was like, man, I'm getting inspired. Like, I want to build an airplane. I want to build a little backyard airplane. I just want to build an airplane and like fly it, because like I just haven't been for various reasons. And Also because it's just kind of a convenience thing. Well, quads are really fun and really fun to fly around, and you can fly them in a really small space, and so it's really way more easy to just like walk out in the backyard and fly a quadcopter around. And I can, you know, with a little quadcopter, you can do all kinds of cool stuff in a small space, but not so much with an airplane. But anyway, yeah, totally am. Yes, absolutely. And what else do we have going on here? Yeah, Arnav asked what is printing, and I had said, the wing for the MH5 is printing the Minihawk 5 VTOL aircraft, coming soon to a 3D printing website near you. Okay, here we go. Drone Aeronautical Tech Fun says, what's the best transmitter for drone purpose, FlySky i6X or FlySky i6S? Fantastic question. In fact, let's take a look at those right here. Well, I don't want to get on like a huge tangent, but you know, we're here, I'm here, so let's look into this. Short answer: go with the i6X. I know people are going to disagree no matter what you say, and you can have your preference. Both are okay, you know, they're fine. They're both fine. And they will both work fine for drones. What I don't like about the i6S, unless they change the firmware, but currently with the most recent version of firmware, which we're going to talk about in just a second, how to find that, is I don't think they have all the specs on here, but basically you can't, it lacks features that you would really want for airplanes, and it also does I feel like it's not actually, like, there aren't enough beneficial features just for drones, for multi-rotor aircraft to really be super worth it, I guess, worth the trade-off. So again, I will have a video, the long-awaited should you buy the i6S or the i6X comparison video. But basically the i6S, I haven't tested it for like range or like the technical performance, as I think it's the same. Like flying it, I have not noticed a huge difference. Maybe the gimbals are a little bit different, but and then here's the i6X, just so we're all on the same page. The i6X has been my main radio for like a couple of years now. I just recently got the i6S, and anyway, that's the short answer. So I totally go off on a tangent when I'm talking about, or that's the long answer. Sorry, short answer is go with the i6X. Go with this one. Personally, I think I like this one more for different reasons, and one of the main reasons is actually that you can have 20 different profiles. You have 10 channels, which is fine. That's probably more than you'll ever need for a quadcopter, and you can do. Where's the specifications? Is it okay? There we go. So there's the specifications for you. But you can do up to 20 different profiles, and that is actually really important because you can't just bind multiple transmitters, or excuse me, you can't just bind multiple receivers to the same transmitter profile. It basically overwrites whatever previous receiver you had bound, which is really bad. It's really lame. And I just realized that with the i6S recently, and so I'm glad I figured that out. So anyway, because the i6S only has 5, and the X-ray version only has or has up to 20. So if you ever plan on having, flying more than 5 different things within like a reasonable span of time, then you should definitely go with the i6X. Boom. Nailed it. Okay. Cody says, built a 4-inch long-range quad for 3S. Then Flywoo just came out with the Explorer 4-inch on 4S bind and fly. Also, man, you should test FlySky long-range stuff. Yes. yes to all of those things. I know, don't you hate that? Don't you hate it when you're like, yes, I just built this one of a kind thing, and I have, you know, had this idea, and then it turns out a company was like probably working on that for like a year or more, and then they just release it, and then you're like, oh, okay. Right? Like I've been looking at the FlyWoo stuff. There's so much sensationalism and hype within the FPV drone, well, kind of not so much the community, I guess, but like the marketing and stuff, like just the what do you call it, the industry. I mean, you know, the sort of like all this new stuff is always coming out, and so it's hard to tell whether a product is actually like groundbreaking or not. In fact, I'm just going to search for that FlyWoo thing because I want to look it up. FlyWoo. What's it called? The Explorer. I know there aren't 2 R's in there, but I just did that. So FlyWoo. I guess we'll go to the FlyWoo website. Yeah, there we go. Wait, is that what they're showing? The LR. Dang. Oh, it's a naked GoPro. That's what that is. So it's a GoPro without the normal GoPro like case and stuff. Which, like, seriously, why hasn't a company come out with a camera that is like as good as the GoPro, that like is a perfect form factor for quadcopters? Why? What? I don't know. I don't know. New button, flag sport, DJI Nano 2 naked camera. I guess they're saying you can carry all of those. Anyway, so that, yeah, I've been seeing videos in that, and I'm like, whoa, that actually does seem super awesome. Like probably something that I would really be interested in, because I really want to do, not really long range stuff, but I would love to do longer range stuff. It's not even so much the range really. It's more of like the actual size of the quadcopter is really the, oh wow, I'm getting distracted. I'm getting very distracted. Okay. But anyway, whoa, it's only, wait, no. Is that for real? No. Get out of here. Get out of town. Oh, wait. Pre-order, Explorer, long range, 4-inch, 4K, micro, long range, FPV. That's a lot of words, with Tarsier 4K. So, okay, so that makes sense, because I feel like that would totally make sense. I'm really interested in the Insta360 Go for this type of application. I think that would be super great, but also the naked GoPro would be good. They're really hyping up that naked GoPro thing. Are they selling a naked GoPro or something? So here's a long range with RunCam Nano 2 bind and fly for $150. That's yowza. They don't have it for FlySky, which is pretty obvious. Except FlySky is doing more long range stuff, but you wouldn't really want to. You would just get a module for if you had a FlySky radio. Anyway, for long range stuff. Dang, I did not realize that was. Is that for real? 150? Wow. Okay. Well, I mean, I'm pretty impressed, especially with the long flight times, just for like cruising around. I think that could be like a lot of fun. But yeah, man, I feel you. It's like, you try to come up with something yourself, and then anyway, that's kind of like what happened with my folding propeller design, which it's so funny because anyway. Okay, but I digress like a lot. But that if you've been hanging out with me before, you probably know that that's just kind of how I roll. But thanks for hanging out with me. Nahak Kang, welcome to this live stream. Glad to have you on board. Okay, let me get to some other questions in the chat, and then we're going to talk about some things on the FlySky thing. Wait, let me just, before I get too distracted. Anyway, but that's why I like hanging out and doing these live streams, because It's honestly a bit more freeing than like trying to make a specific video about a specific thing. It's fun to just kind of hang out and talk RC stuff. Okay, let's see. Ozzy says, sorry, not that one. Somebody else. What gauge wire? Okay, so Nahak Kang says, what gauge wire does motor connect to ESC? Typically, I think it's like a 16 gauge. Yeah, I think 18 or 16 gauge. I think so. The higher the number, the smaller the wire. So I mean, it kind of depends on what your oh wait, motor wire. Sorry, motor wire connect to ESC. Those one I was thinking of the battery connection to an ESC. It depends on like the type of motor, of course. If it's a big old motor for like a big old propeller, like a 10-inch propeller, like an airplane, then yeah, it's probably going to be like a 16 gauge or something. But if it's a small quadcopter, it's I think it's like a 18, 20, 20, 22, something like that. It does vary, but it's around that ballpark size. Ozzy says, let's see, wait, oh, that's what you're building. Okay, so Ozzy is building a 5-inch real ACC frame, Mamba 2 flight controller, Emax Eco, 2400 kV motors, Runcam Swift 2, FlySky i6X controller, and controller receiver with King Kong propellers. I don't know if those King Kong propellers are actually, I don't know. Let me know if those propellers are good or not, because I thought they were like the cheap ones, but I can't remember, so maybe they changed. Anyway, that sounds like a pretty cool setup. It sounds like you got some good stuff with the Runcam Swift and the Emax motors. I feel like Emax is a pretty solid brand, pretty solid, like sort of like budget to mid-level brand, which is like basically pretty much just all that I buy. Because I'm cheap. Oh, it says, and it also says, I have some missing parts. Can you help me about them? I need a VTX and antenna, FPV goggles, battery, and battery charger. Yeah, you mean like which ones to buy? It says we want to buy an Ia-10b VTX3, but cargo is more. Oh, okay, shipping is more expensive than the product. Can I buy Ia-10 Nano VTX? Yeah, sure. I mean, you know, the VTX it is kind of weird how many there are. What I mean is how well, just like a lot of products, how different they are, but like they're all pretty darn kind of similar in the sense that they a lot of times do the same thing. You might take a look at the AKK Race VTX. That's what I just put on. That's what I just put on my, I think it's this one right here. That's what I just put on my Cinewhoop, and I like it so far. It's simple. It's I have it mounted with a little bit of sticky adhesive foam tape on the back with a zip tie around it. It uses an MMCX connector. So I don't know if you can get that one. That one seems pretty good. It's very cheap so far. So far, it seems like it's been working well, but I haven't tested it a lot. But it has gotten like good reviews and stuff. So there's that. Yeah, there's that. Yes. Let's see. Dante Supreme, welcome to the chat. Let's see here. It said, Dante asks, can you use the knobs to do what? Can you use the knobs to do on an RC transmitter? Very good question, Dante. So on a RC transmitter, like, so that would be. Whoops. Let's go over here. I like to provide visuals when I'm talking about stuff. I think it kind of helps. So that would be like these guys right here, these knobs at the top of the top center of the transmitter. You could use them for all kinds of stuff. Like it's basically like a switch in the sense that you could do the same thing as a switch, but you have a lot of varying increments in between the on and the off position. So you can set, I have that one set up for a beeper just because I don't use it very often, but you could use it to control like a camera, like a pan tilt camera, typically on like an airplane. You could, on an airplane, you could use it to control, trim, or you could use it for all kinds of stuff. So it's basically just anytime that you want to be able to maybe control something like a servo, especially, and you don't want it to be all the way on or all the way off. That's typically what that is used for. And actually, I think that you could, I'll have to experiment with this. If I can do it, I'll make a video of it. But I think you could like just use one knob for all of your Betaflight settings in Betaflight for your quadcopter. I know there was a Joshua Bardwell video talking about using one switch for all of your different settings, or what was it, one switch, or it was like, that was like two switches. I don't remember now, but basically it was like having more settings in Betaflight than your number of switches in case you run out. Or no, channels. It wasn't. Oh, it was channels. I think it was channels. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then that's what FlySky tried to do on the i6s with their whole fly mode thing. And it's a terrible idea. It's a terrible idea. But anyway, that would be just kind of more of a novelty. So I hope that answers that question. Rodriguez. Ciao. I don't know how to pronounce that, but Rodriguez says, I have a FSI 6X. I bought yesterday an X6 and an X6b receiver. All right. Super cool. Congratulations on that. I remember when I first got mine and I was like, wow, this is a lot better than the DX6i that I had. Sorry to all you Spectrum people, but why are the Spectrum transmitters so huge? I don't know. Actually, most transmitters are. Double Tap Gaming says, good morning. All good morning, Double Tap. And let's see. Oh, Dante says it used to be on a brushless motor. And Luca says, so you can PID tune with the knobs. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't know. Can you PID tune with the knobs? I don't think you could. I mean, maybe you could set it up for that. I don't know. I actually don't do much PID tuning, but I might need to soon for this new for the new quadcopter that I built. And I'm new to that, so that's going to be another new thing to... Oh, Kyle. Oh, okay. Kyle. Thank you, Kyle. Yes. So, yeah, PID tuning. Anyway, sorry. I just keep I really go down a rabbit hole. One thing. Let me grab a motor. One second. Okay, yes, it's going to be a motor, like for a smaller brushless motor, probably about a 16 to 18 wire gauge. And then if it's like for a Yeah, probably something like that. And then if it's like a battery, or if it's an ESC connection to a battery, kind of like for a airplane, it's probably going to be like 16 or 14 gauge wire, generally, maybe. I don't know. Okay, so before I forget, we need to talk about the. Let me do this for dramatic effect. The second mostest question that I get asked is, how do you upgrade the FlySky firmware? And how do you change the FlySky firmware? How do you well, that's mostly it. But some people don't even know like that you can upgrade the firmware and that sort of thing. So the way that you can get to the firmware is actually, it's on GitHub, and GitHub, as most of you probably know, is like a place where you can get a bunch of like, it's like a open resource file sharing place for computery files and stuff like that. And so you get a lot of Betaflight stuff from there. But on the FlySky website, because if you try to get downloads from here, like there's no spot where it says like download stuff here. So what you have to do is you have to go to frequently asked questions if you're going through this website, and then it says down here. No, not here. Yes, it is here. Wait, where'd it go? Okay, so now they're talking about updating the firmware, and then eventually, here we go. Where can I download the latest firmware? Like FlySky, why don't you just put a link to that, like on your main page? You can download it from the official website product page. Well, okay, it does say that. It does say that. So I guess any individual product. So I stand corrected. Actually, I'm sitting. But anyway, download it from GitHub. So you can download it from GitHub. And this way you can actually like just search through all of the different updates and stuff, which is nice. So like here we can go into transmitter, because I have transmitter and receiver. Honestly, I've never updated the firmware on a receiver, and I don't know if I need to, or if it would really make a difference. Let's see, it looks like the X6B. Yeah, I don't know. What's the most recent one there? But anyway, this is where you find updates to stuff. Oh, that's not even an update. That's just a product manual. Come on, man. Anyway, so there's the FSi6X. I recently updated my i6S, and you can see here that this is the most recent file that they added, but I'm not sure what the difference is. I think it's the same. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it's the same firmware as this one, which was from April. I think it was April. It says 4 months ago. And that is 2.0.0.68 for the i6S, and that's what I have on the i6S. Oh, excuse me. Oh. So anyway, that's how you find the firmware to update it. So hopefully that helps somebody. Dante says how to use a 3-point switch to change a 2-point switch to do something else. How to use a 3-point switch to change a 2-point switch to do something else. Okay. Yeah. It's kind of yeah, it's sort of a complicated question. It depends on what transmitter you're using. So this person is asking how do you use one switch to change the function of another switch based on the position of the first switch. FlySky has sort of done this with their flight mode or fly mode feature, big air quotes there, fly mode feature, because fly mode sounds really confusing, because you fly mode, you'd think like, well, it's acro mode or angle mode, or maybe it's like, you know, well, that type of thing, because that's a mode. But no, their thing is, if we search FSI6S fly mode, yeah, so there we go. So my video is what comes up, and oh, I guess what is that, Painless 360 has a video about that as well. Interesting. Yeah, and so anyway, my video right here, this is what I would watch if you want to set that up on your radio, if you're talking about the i6s. But yeah, as far as setting up another one, oh my gosh, we're live now, and we're seeing that we're live. That is so what? It's so meta. Wow. Anyway, that's what FlySky tried to do with the fly mode thing. It's really confusing because like you have to remember what position one switch is in, and then it changes for another switch. So personally, I don't like it. And to be honest, the short answer is I don't know. I don't know how exactly you would do that. I'm not sure if there is an easy way of doing that, like through Betaflight. But so anyway, hopefully that helps a little bit. Ozzy says he's not sure about the King Kong propellers. He hasn't flown them yet, but he bought them on a recommendation. So we'll see how those go. But you know, that's how it goes. You gotta fly it. You gotta fly it and try it, and then I was trying to rhyme something there, but I couldn't think of anything. So anyway, you got to try it and see how it goes. So that's cool. Ozzy also says, I have a FlySky receiver, and it says on it Ia-10b AFHDS2A. Can I use it on my quad? Should I remove the plastic cover on it? Yes, you can use it. Do you have to remove the plastic cover? You can. Actually, well, that's another video that I need to, like, there are so many videos that I need to and will make, but that was, in fact, somebody, I apologize if you're watching this, I can't remember your name, person, but somebody emailed me and was asking, or I think his name was Alex, asking about a similar thing. So AFHDS, or I mean Ia-10b, let's go to the receivers here again, so we're all on the same page, because these numbers and letters, they get so confusing. So whoops, we want oh yeah, there we go, receivers. So the Ia-10b, that's a pretty big honking receiver. I mean, it's, you know, if it's on a larger quad, like a 5-inch quad, it's fine. I mean, you know, having extra weight is not great, but it's fine. And you know, I mean, you just have a ton of extra channels, because all you really need is the ability to use iBus. I guess you can use S-Bus as well, or even PPM would be better than having all those channels, which obviously, like, nobody does that anymore with all the channels. Anyway, so this is the plastic cover. But yeah, so somebody else said that they took off the plastic cover, and the actual receiver is really not that big. You just have this big part, this big fat part where the normally like airplane receiver, airplane servo connectors would connect to. And so you don't actually have to really, once you take the case off, it's pretty small otherwise. So yes, you can take the case off. And but I would just you know, put some heat shrink tubing on it, or just some maybe some electrical tape, just to protect it and insulate it. I mean, you don't have to wrap it up like a mummy, but just to protect it from the quadcopter frame, because if it's a carbon fiber frame, that is conductive. Although not really sure how conductive it is, but obviously it is conductive enough that you don't want all your electronics touching it, for sure. Wolves, and wolves, how do you pronounce the first part of that? Or is that even a word? I can't, as cure. So I don't know how to pronounce that part, but wolves stopped by just to say hi. Hello, and welcome. Glad to have you with us, just to say hi. And he says he uses his X6B on his 5-inch, and it's pretty nice because it has diversity. Yeah, the X6B, honestly, is pretty solid. I've said this before. I said this last time. But oh, it's not on here, of course, because it's not an actual FlySky receiver. But the FLI 14 Plus receiver, manufactured by, well, sometimes it's branded iRange X, and sometimes it's branded Happy Model. That's, I think, the best receiver. But the X6B is, you know, it works pretty fine. All these receivers, they work pretty fine, depending on how far you want to go and that sort of thing. Hobbytech BD says, bro, where are you from? Where are you from, Hobbytech BD? I'm from southeastern United States, so North Carolina is where I am. Where are you? Where are you? Dante says thank you. You're welcome, Dante. And again, if I missed someone's question and they're like, why didn't you answer my question? Well, it's either because I didn't want to answer the question, or it could be because I missed the question. So just go ahead and tag me like Wolves did right there. Ayush Kanaj says hi. Double Tap Gaming asks, have you tried... Oh, well, so first, Dante... Oh, boy, what a question. Dante says, which is better, FlySky or FreeSky? Oh, my gosh. Well, I mean, it depends on who you ask. It's kind of personal preference. A lot of it's personal preference. I mean, I would say just based on quality of products and performance, probably... Well, that's a tough one, honestly, because it depends. Like, are we comparing the cheap FlySky to the cheap FreeSky? Although FreeSky doesn't even come as close to the cheapness level, so you'd have to be talking like comparable radios. And if we're talking comparable radios, you might be talking about like the NV14, which is FlySky's crazy looking thumber radio for, you know, primarily quadcopters, for people who use thumbs. I actually don't use thumbs anymore, so a radio like this is like their top of the line one, the Paladin PL18. This one is actually kind of more like what I would use. Wow, they don't even have a full shot of it. Well, they have that. Anyway, that looks, well, it looks like way overkill for most things, but anyway, that's like their top of the line one. So I don't know. I mean, they've got metal hull gimbals, wireless charging. Yeah. Anyway, I would say generally people will tell you that FreeSky is better, but it kind of depends on the application. So if you're cheap like me and you don't care about what am I trying to say here? Kind of like if it works, it works. Then FlySky, I would say FlySky is better in that regard. But FreeSky is more popular, so it's maybe you have more options with FreeSky. I would say that you do have more options, more support from manufacturers and that sort of thing. So that's a tricky question. That's a loaded question. Double Tap Gaming asks, have you tried the crossover RX receiver? Oh, the crossover RX receiver. Yes, I was thinking in my mind Crossfire receiver. Yes, I have done I've tried the crossover RX receivers. I mean, I have a couple videos about them. But I don't really like them anymore, to be honest with you. Crossover RX receiver. It's difficult to search for these things because if you type in crossover, you get a vehicle. Anyway, I do have some videos talking about these, the XR401, 401, all this different stuff. But I was having problems with them. Like I had a problem with one because I had to update the firmware, and I did not like that. And it was hard to update the firmware, and that was a pain. And then the other one, the 6, which one is it? I think it's the 602, anyway, with the diversity receivers or antennas, that one just stopped working randomly on me, and I don't know why it stopped working, but I was like, man, this is lame. I don't like that. So they seem like they're pretty good quality in terms of built well, and they have some good features, but there's not even, I don't even know where their website is. I mean, you could find it on, you could find, they're also listed as FlySky. So like on Banggood, they have FlySky receivers, and that's the same thing. Not this one, that's a weird one. But you know, they do have FlySky RX. They do have them. So anyway, basically, I thought they had them. Maybe they don't, because apparently the company, like, I can't get to their website anymore. So maybe they're just FlySky RC. I don't know. Yeah, that's more what they're supposed to look like this one. Anyway, yeah, they have a lot of potential, because I like the UFL connectors. They're very, very tiny, very tiny. But, and like if we compare that to the FLI 14 Plus receiver, the 14 Plus is actually pretty large, and it does have that that little connector, which I actually kind of like the connector, because that allows me to swap this, and especially, like, you know, maybe you are, you know, you don't have much money at all, and you don't necessarily plan on flying two quads like very frequently, but so you could just swap out the receiver from one quad to the other with that connector. So I like that, actually. But anyway, I don't like that the fact that the antennas are directly soldered on, and I don't like the fact that the antennas are actually pretty darn short. I think they're like 80 millimeters or something, so it's kind of hard to get them away from the quadcopter. So I don't like that aspect. But here I am getting distracted talking about a review on these receivers. But that's what we do. So anyway, that's the short answer. I guess the short answer would be yes. Yes, I have used them. But then I wouldn't get to talk as much, so, you know. Yeah, so Frag says FlySky is saying, in response to Dante, is saying FlySky is better, but the newer stuff is restrictive to using FlySky gear only. The older Tyrannus Plus, etc., was the best FlySky radio. So yeah, I would agree with that. So like the newer FlySky stuff, FlySky. In fact, you know what? Let's go to race day quads. So the newer FlySky stuff, or Frisky, I spelled that wrong. It's FRSky, not FlySky. What am I looking for? I'm looking for the radios. Man, why is it so hard to just... Come on, radio. FlySky radio. Anyway, basically the newer FlySky radios, I guess they're using a different protocol, and they're basically kind of locking you in that brand, and also locking you into using only newer receivers. That's my understanding. So correct me if I'm wrong on that one. I think the newest one, so they have the X9 Lite. That's what it is, the X9 Lite, and it has, yeah, the Access, which is hilariously ironic. Like the way people name these things is just so funny. So the Access protocol, again, correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't use FlySky, but my understanding is the Access protocol makes it so that you can't use previous receivers, I believe, which is hilarious because it's like actually less access. So Isn't that great? You just if you name something the opposite of what it actually is, then it sounds great. Turns out that's how that works. All right, up next we have Wolf says the X6B I mentioned is FlySky branded. It's right here, right there on the screen. FS X6B. Yes, you're right. The X6B is a FlySky receiver. Absolutely is. Right there, right here, right somewhere. You saw it before. Excuse me. X6B. That is a FlySky thing. Yeah. What's not a FlySky branded receiver is the FLI 14 Plus. But I still think this is actually probably the best one because it's lighter than it's lighter than the X6B and smaller. The antennas aren't as long, which I don't like that. So that may be something. That could possibly be something. Maybe for longer range stuff. I don't know. But then the FlySky also came out with the X14S. Okay, I have not tried this yet, and the reason why I have not, well, honestly, just because I just haven't cared to be honest with you. But I would be happy to try it out though, and I may still. But the thing is I was like, well, look, the X14S. Maybe it has super great range, okay, but you know, I don't need super great range. Like, to be honest with you, like I feel like my video I think with the setup that I have right now with the FLI 14 Plus, or the X6B, I feel like that would outfly my video setup that I have right now. And I don't fly with a huge, you know, a big old, you know, 1 watt video transmitter with a bunch of patch goggles, patch antennas, and like, you know what I mean? So I'm not really set up for flying long range for the video anyway. Now, obviously there's something to be said for like having a better receiver connection so that you can fly around buildings and, you know, that sort of thing. But anyway, this doesn't have RSSI. No RSSI, which, I mean, I don't know. Maybe you don't need RSSI. I've flown a lot. What am I getting Canadian here? What's going on? I've flown quite a bit for a long time without RSSI, so maybe you don't need RSSI, but I feel like RSSI is kind of nice because it lets you. So RSSI stands for receiver signal strength indicator, I think, or at least that's what I'm going to say it stands for. And so what that does, and I know most of you guys know this, but that it puts up on your OSD in your goggles how strong the signal is from your transmitter to your quadcopter. So if it gets really low, and I think usually it's in like a percentage. So if it gets down to like 20% or something, then that means like you don't have a whole lot of room until maybe something blocks your signal and then your quad failsafe. So that's the idea, is you have a better understanding of how your quadcopter is doing signal wise. But I guess, you know, theoretically, if you're not flying very far long range, then I guess it doesn't really matter. I don't know. Personally, I like having the RSSI. The RSSI is it's easy to set up on the FLI 14 Plus. I've always had it work just fine. So now, I don't know how super accurate it is. We'll need to do some more testing on that. But I like it, and that's why. And so I'm like, well, why would I go with this one, which is more expensive? Maybe it's smaller. Maybe it might be smaller. Yeah, that's what I could think. It would almost be worth it if you could bind it, if you didn't have to press the binding button, but I don't know if you do or not. I have not looked up the manual that much. Okay. I think we've got about another half hour before my voice quits. Okay, let's check on our 3D printing. Oh man. That looks so good. Okay, I was just setting up the time lapse for that, so we get some nice time lapse stuff because everybody loves 3D printing time lapses. Yeah, it looks great, man. Look, I love this clear stuff. It's 3D Fuel Workday PLA. It's clear. Love it. Okay. Panic FPV. I see you there. I see you there. Yes, it's going good, Panic. It's funny. I saw that name and I was thinking Picnic FPV. Oh, hello to that person. That's another language that I'm not familiar with, so I don't know how to pronounce that, but hi. Hello. All right, so Dante says I wanted so the reason why Dante was asking about the FreeSky versus FlySky, and you can also I do have a video talking about the difference between the two in case you're wondering like what's the difference between the two, because they sound really similar, and they do, maybe on purpose. But anyway, he says I am going to get a new transmitter. Somewhere, where did it go? Just disappeared. Oh, there it is. Well, okay. Tyrannus X7 or FlySky I6X. Tyrannus X7. Well, I want to be on the same page. I want all of us to be on the same page. So let's take a look at this. So Tyrannus X7. Is that right? X7? Is that even is that a thing? Oh, QX. The QX7? Is that what you mean? The QX7? Well, let me read what you guys are saying, because you guys always get to it first. Oh yeah, Picnic FPV. Just kidding. Panic FPV says I had a lot of problems with crossover. Never got them to work at all. Yeah, they were working great when they worked, but then they stopped working, and I don't like that. Not cool, man. Also, Panic says TBS has a multi-protocol adapter for the Tango 2. Good to know. Good to know. Yeah, that Tango 2 seems interesting. Pardon me. Frags asks, have you had a look at the T16 or the T18 radios? Multi-protocol module built into those radios, so that would be the what is it, the jumper? I believe that's a jumper. Crossover RX makes them for yeah, that is true. That is what they do. Double Tap says I have the 14 plus but couldn't get RSSI to work. This is the reason I don't have FreeSky radio. Wait, that's why you don't have a FreeSky radio? I don't know. I got lost on that one. But yeah, access gives you less access. Yes. Luca says I'm updating my camera's firmware. Good for you. I hadn't even thought about that. I guess, or what kind of camera is it? That's pretty cool though. Wolves asks thoughts on the Jumper R1 Plus. It's S-Bus and binds to FreeSky and multi-protocol ones too. Okay, a lot of things to look at right here. So we have the QX7. Okay, this is just kind of off the cuff here. But personally, I would say if it's the QX7, oh wait, QX7S and then the QX7, what's the difference? Okay, I'm not sure somebody else can help me, I think, with what the difference is really quickly between these, but personally, I think if it's a newer FreeSky radio that uses access, I wouldn't get it. I wouldn't get it. Just me personally. Also, I think the Tyrannus is huge and ugly. The QX7, I mean, the QX7 is gigantic. Dante, is that the one you were looking at? Is this the one, the QX7? And also, look, like, I mean, it's like more than twice as much as a i6X. Is there even one on, does RDQ sell the i6X? I thought they did. No, they don't. They sell the i6. They sell the yeah, they do. They have it right there. What are they telling me? Those guys, crazy guys. So, $54 for this one. Honestly, man. And it comes with an Ia-10b receiver, which is not the best for quads, but it does work. I don't know. Personally, I feel like if it was between those two, I mean, yeah, I would go with the FlySky, but I guess people would just say like, oh, well, of course you would, but well, yeah, of course I would. And then, I mean, if nothing else, you can get the FlySky and then save up to get a different radio if you want something that doesn't have the access protocol. But I don't think you really necessarily even need to like save up or whatever. Somebody said, what is it? Wolves said the jumper. It's a bug in my face or something. The jumper R1. Jumper R1, is that, or the jumper R1 plus? R1 plus. Oh, it's a receiver. It's a receiver. Okay. It says S bus and it binds to FlySky and multi-protocol ones too. Okay, but so we're talking about does it bind to FlySky? So is it uses an IPEX? Oh, I think I said UFL before, but that's not a UFL, it's an IPEX. What's a UFL? Anyway. Let's look at oh, I'm sorry, you can't see my screen. Oh. Sorry about that. Okay. My bad. All right. So, yeah, anyway, the QX7. QX7, Dante, is that what you were looking at? Let us know. Anish Patil. That always gets me. Anish, hello, welcome. How is B6 AC battery charger? It's a good question. I'm not sure. We'll look that up in a moment, I think. So compatibility, D16 mode, FlySky, and Tyrannus. D16 mode, FlySky. Okay, so I don't think that works with the, or unless they have different versions. Do they have different versions? The jumper, what's it called? The jumper R1 plus receiver. Let's check that out. Yeah, now you can see stuff. There we go. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know about that. That's not a super great website. Okay, so that's what they have. They have the R1F, the R1 plus, the R. Yeah, no, I don't think, or maybe you didn't say this, that it would work with FlySky. I was hoping it would work with FlySky. That'd be cool if they did make one that worked with FlySky, but I guess not. I guess really, if anything, what you would probably do would be you would buy a transmitter. What is the one everyone's talking about? The T16, T12, the T16, T8SG, T16. T16. Yeah, so let's see. JR module base supporting TBS Crossfire modules and more. Oh, this one. Okay, so this one has the module bay. Which one is the one? I'm not super familiar with these. Which one is the one that has the they all have module bays. Do they all have module bays? Interesting. T12 version. Okay, is it a T8 version? So it does have the JR module. See, so this is kind of an interesting thing here, because like many things in the RC world, or just like many things in general, once you like get into them, once you get to the point where you're like you're talking so much about the details that it's not like what model, what brand and model of transmitter, it's like what type of, what type of board does this transmitter use, or what type of electronics does this transmitter use, or in this case, what type of module does this use for actually sending the signal. And so it's kind of interesting because it's because of the rise of the modules, the multi-protocol modules, and or just using like a crossfire module, which is like or other types of longer range modules, that sort of thing. It's like it doesn't matter so much what brand you even have anymore if you're just going to put a module in it. So it's kind of interesting. Now this one, let's see, integrated with the main internal RF module. All right, so this one, I think this is their cheapest one, very small. And honestly, I kind of like the small size. I think the small size is very handy. That's why I like FlySky receivers. Does it say what supports protocols? Walkera, DSM2, FlySky 2A. That's that AFHDS 2A that we were talking about. FreeSky, Futaba. I mean, that's pretty cool, man. That is, I need to look at that. What is that? That's the T8SG. I know that's been around a bit. It's kind of old, so it's no longer the cool kid on the block. And I guess they did update some things from it, but like, for example, I'm just curious what's the price on that TS8G, because a lot of people, that's another question that I get a lot, is like, what transmitter should I get? Should I get this one? Should I get that one? I want something that's like a budget one, but like, it's not too much. And the jumper, it's not, they don't have it there. Does Banggood have jumper radios, jumper radio control transmitter? It seems like jumper is the next best thing to the budgetness of FlySky. Why is this so hard to find? Okay, jumper radio. What is it? Was that a TS8G, TSG8, TS8G, something like that? TS8. How about jumper? Do they have any jumper? Who has jumper? Where's jumper? Where can I get some jumper? Come on, jumper. Let's do the T16, jumper T16. Do they have that? They don't have it. Okay, they don't have any jumper stuff. That's fine. Okay, we'll just have to find that somewhere else. It's like, how do you even buy these products? Are they selling these or what? Jumper. All right, I'm gonna find this out, and then TS8G, and then we're going to continue on with something that whatever else we were doing before. So jumper, Amazon has it. Let's see, how much is it for Amazon? So, well, the custom one's about 100. Yeah, I don't know. It's so it's about 100. I think the other one was going for about 80 or something like that. I mean, it does seem pretty cool as like a beginner transmitter. I'm not crazy about the antenna sticking out at the top. Anyway, but yeah, so that does it is kind of an interesting question. The question I get pretty often is like, should you spend a bunch of money and get a transmitter that you're going to kind of grow into, or should you not spend a bunch of money and spend as little money as possible on the transmitter, and then you can get a transmitter, a better transmitter later? And I don't know. I guess it just really depends on what the type of flying that you think you would want to do. Okay. Anish asks, how is, let's see, B6AC battery charger? Is that B6AC? B6AC battery charger? It sounds familiar, but I'm trying to remember. B6AC battery charger. Oh, okay. The iMax B6AC. Oh, okay. So this is the version. This is basically what I have. I think this version has a, what is this? A built-in, because it's the AC, not the DC. So I think this is a built-in plug. This is an AU plug, though. I don't want that. I want the USA plug. I think it's pretty good. I mean, I think, well, so I think that this style has been like pretty much the standard for like a long time. Actually, a battery charger is something I need to upgrade soon. Battery charger, what is it? It's the ISDT battery chargers. Those are like the newfangled fancy ones. And there's so many different types. It's pretty darn confusing. There's the toolkit. The toolkit ones look pretty good. I mean, I guess I'm just thinking like price wise, I'm not sure if there are the newer ones that are similar in price. So like, for example, this one. And see, this is what gets me about a lot of these battery chargers, man, is they sell them like this is a DC battery charger, right? But I'm pretty sure they sell it without the power supply. So I guess the intent is that you would use a larger battery and plug it in and then charge smaller batteries with that. But that's so annoying, especially for beginners, because you're like, oh yeah, okay, well, $60, I guess that seems like a pretty good deal, 25 amp, yeah. But then it's like, oh well, then you have to get a power supply, a $20 power supply. So then you're talking like $80. Looks like a good power supply though. And anyway, so yeah, so the B6AC, I think it's probably pretty good. I still use my iMax A-B, whatever it's called, the version that does not have the built-in power supply. And this one does say dual power, built-in power supply. It says right on there, built-in AC adapter. It says dual power. Why is, oh, so okay, so you can do, so in that little one, the little connector is DC, and so you could connect that probably to like a car battery, I think is what they're showing. So yeah, that looks good actually. Seems pretty good. Again, not having done a ton of research on this particular model or comparing it with other models out there, I mean, that's always the kind of the thing, is like, do I want to spend $35 on this, or do I want to spend $70 on this other one, but maybe it's twice as good, or maybe it'll be the last one I ever need to buy. I don't know. It's kind of tricky, but the thing is like, I mean, the fact of the matter is, if you have $36 in your hand right now and you don't have a battery charger, and you're not made of money, then yeah, I think something like this would be fine. I'm still using essentially this same thing. I don't know how, but I've somehow managed to just to make it work, to basically charge one battery at a time off of this thing. And you probably won't be charging more than one battery. I think for me, it usually pulls around, well, I usually charge it like 1.5 amps, and so if it's I think that would be like, what would be like 20 watts or something. Anyway, it's, so basically, 6 amps is pretty small, because like this guy over here, we're looking at, this thing, these other ones are showing like 25 amps or something. But if you're just charging one battery at a time, or this one you can charge 2 at a time, but if you're charging 1 at a time, which is the safest way to do it, then yeah, you're not going to be maxing out this charger amperage wise or wattage wise. So anyway, yeah, I would say that's pretty good. Looks like a pretty solid Solid purchase right there. We got Matt Westoff. Hello, welcome, Matt. And we got Patty 111180. And he says best BLDC motor manufacturers companies. Not sure if that is a question or a statement, but we'll just find out. Yeah, we will. All right, so let's see. Anish also asks, how much range do you get with the FSI-6S with an Ia-10b receiver? The short answer, I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to know. I don't know. The Ia-10b receiver right here, they say the range could be anywhere from 500 to 1,500 meters in the air. So I don't know, but what if things go according to plan, I will be doing some longer, not super long range, but longer range, like hopefully half a mile testing, which is kind of a lot for around here. Half a mile testing in a couple weeks, and I will do that with the i6S just to see if there's any kind of differences between the i6S and the i6X, but it's hard to tell. Like I'll try to do a side-by-side comparison, but I think for the most part, that they would be the same. And anyway, in terms of the distance here, yeah, it's going to vary depending on your atmospheric situation and conditions, but probably like you could probably go out to like a mile or a couple miles or something. I don't know. Like for me personally, like once you get past a mile, it's like, well shoot, I mean, that's a really long ways. So pretty darn far is basically my best answer that I can give you right there. Frag says just updated my how do you pronounce that? Noxy V2 flight controller to iNav version 2.5. Yay! 3 servo outputs and 1 motor output, eventually going in a Zod drift. That's pretty cool. I'm not familiar with the drift. I know like the Zod, what are the other ones? The Zod, they look really cool, those Zod airplanes. Or what was like the Zod, not the Talon. Was it the Talon? Anyway, very cool. I do want to do that. I do. Oh, I just got an idea. I was thinking maybe I could build that. Maybe I could build that. What's it called? The flight test. It's like the plank thing. It's based on the ready-made RC. I can't think of the name. Anyway, it's like a flying wing, and I was thinking that might be fun to do some receiver testing with that as well. The thing is, quads are so much more stable and controllable in the air, so it's kind of more fun in a way to fly those. Of course, that's if everything is working right. If things go wrong with quadcopters, they go wrong fast. Whereas with airplanes, you could if your plane is just set up to glide, you could lose connection for a while and then get it back. Anyway. Okay, next question. What are your thoughts? Martin FTP, welcome Martin, says, what are your thoughts on air mode? Is it necessary to have it activated? Yes. Air mode is fantastic. The only time air mode is a problem is if you bump into an object. So either on landing or if you bump into a tree or something. Because air mode essentially is sort of stabilizing the quadcopter, and it's sort of putting in inputs to act against external forces acting on the quadcopter. So your flights will be better with air mode, and they will feel more locked in, and they will be like more precise sort of and smoother with air mode. So use air mode. However, what I have been doing is having air mode on a switch. So I have it I have a flight mode switch, so a 3-position switch on my transmitter, and so I have at the bottom of the switch, it's at the bottom of the switch. Let me just cut to this one. Here we go. At the bottom of the switch, it's auto level mode. In case I want to do auto level, that's useful for like in case you want to say you want to take off. You don't have to have it, but like say you want to just okay, whatever you'd want to use air mode auto level for. So auto level. In the middle is regular mode, which is just standard acro mode, but not air mode enabled. And then at the top is acro mode plus air mode. And again, acro mode allows you to have total control over the quadcopter as opposed to like auto level mode. And then acro mode with air mode. Air mode is like a little, think of air mode like image stabilization. And some people are probably going to get upset by that analogy because it's not technically correct or something, but it seems like that is kind of like what's going on. Like or especially like if you have a GoPro, when you turn on that boost stabilization and you can move the GoPro like even more. And okay, so that maybe that is confusing in that regard, but like on the sort of the computery chip level in the quadcopter for the sensors, it's sort of like stabilization in the sense, well, kind of like that in the sense that like if wind tries to push the quadcopter sideways, the quadcopter is kind of going to try to maintain whatever position you told it to be in. So yeah, it's kind of like image stabilization for your quad a little bit. Okay. Oh, Patty 111188 says, okay, so when you say BLDC motor, are you talking, is that brushless DC motor? Is that an abbreviation for that? If that's what you're talking about, what are the best companies for that? Emax is good. I feel like Emax is pretty solid like budget stuff. iFlight is coming out with some good stuff, and as far as like, I mean, those are the brands. I don't know who exactly is like actually manufacturing all of these different motors, because there can't be that many manufacturers. A lot of it's like you have one manufacturer and then they're making a certain type for a particular brand. I don't know. Let them know in the comments what's your sort of favorite brushless motor, company for making motors. Well, you don't specify FPV or for good heavy duty application. Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure. Oh, I would look into T-Motor. I think, yes, T-Motor. Definitely check out T-Motor. They make some really high quality motors and stuff. I haven't really personally used them, but I've looked into them. Kyle Rodriguez says, I am very confused because some products are balance charger and others are just battery charger. Is there any difference? Yes, Kyle, that's a great question. There's a huge difference. Let's go and look at the battery charger that we were talking about. So balance, so like you said, updated, well, I don't know about updated, but it's just a selling thing. But balance charger, because see, these descriptions, they just put all the words in there without any punctuation. Okay, so balance charger, that is what you want. Whenever you are charging your batteries, balance charge them. Balance charge them. It's very, very important, because if we look up a battery, let's just, is there a just give me a battery. Where's a battery? There's a battery right there. Let's look up this battery. This battery, this little part right there, you see that little white thing sticking out, the little cables that come out, that's called your balance plug, and each one of those wires is connected to the individual cell in the battery, and the battery is composed of several cells. The more cells, the more voltage you have generally. And so what that does is you plug that into the side, usually the side of the charger. So in this case, you plug it in right, well, I can't, it's, right here. there's different ports for different sizes of cells, because each cell you'd have an additional wire. So so with two, and you always have one extra. So with a 2-cell battery, it's going to be 3 cables, because you have 1 ground and 2 positive. And so you plug that into the side of the battery charger, and then you plug in your main battery lead. So one important thing, Anish, about this is that make sure that you get a cable that will work for your battery. So for your main battery connector. So like in this case, this uses an XT, well, you can use an XT30 or an XT60. They both look like this, but the XT60 is a larger version. They're like a usually yellow connector. It looks like that. So that's very important. That's the most common, XT30 or XT60. XT60 is the most common for like 5-inch size quadcopters. And so make sure you get a cable right here, one of these cables that will actually connect. These are Dean's connectors, I think they're called. And that's not what you want for an XT60. So make sure you find a kit that includes that, or just buy an additional one. You can also make your own, of course, if you're confident if you have any soldering skills, you can make your own. So the balance connector, is very important to plug that in to the side, and then you plug in your main battery connector. And then on here, you will have the option, like on the screen, you'll have the option of like, do you want to charge this? Do you want to balance charge it? Do you want to discharge it? Do you want to, usually there's storage charge. And storage charge is like if you want to store the battery, it stores it sort of at the optimal voltage for each cell. And so anyway, you really want to select balance charge, because the balance charge is going to make sure that all of the cells using this plug, that they're charging up equally. And that's very important, because if you charge one cell unequally, see, like there it says, there we go on the screen, it should say balance. That's what you want it to say. And then you match up the amperage and the voltage and stuff. And so, yeah, if you don't balance charge it, what you get are exploded batteries, where you just try to connect the main connector, and you try to charge it like that. And the reason why is because, like, especially if you have a damaged battery pack, maybe the cells are not connected properly, and so one's charging way more, or one is not charging at all, or something weird is going on, and then that's how you get lipo fires. I've never had a problem charging whenever I do a balance charge, and I charge at 1C, and 1C for the charging, it's a weird system for the way that it's measured, but 1C is what is 1C equal to? I mean, it's equal to it's 1C is equal to the capacity of the battery, I want to say. That sounds right. I need to brush up on this, and I'm going to be making some more videos about batteries and charging. But anyway, so if you have, like, for example, here you have a 850 milliamp hour battery. In 1C would be measured. No, sorry. Basically, for this one, 1C would be 0.8, well, 0.85 if you have the option, but 0.8 amps is what you would charge this battery at if you charged it at 1C. And most batteries will say, like, on the back of them, and it doesn't say here, but they'll say, like, don't charge over a certain number of C's, which is like the capacity of the battery it's in amps, I guess. It's measured in amps, and so you basically just move the decimal place 3 spaces, because there's 1,000 milliamps in 1 amp. So I know it's confusing. It can be kind of confusing because there's so many numbers and letters like this. Like just this description, like RDQ series, 14.8 volt, 4S, 850 mAh, milliamp hour, but you wouldn't know how to say milliamp hour if this was the first time seeing it. 75C, lipo, you know, some people say lipo, but it's pronounced lipo, a lithium polymer, micro battery. And then you're like, what? And it's like, and then you get the option of, do you want an XT60 or an XT30? And you're like, I'm so confused. I don't even know. And typically if it's like a, I don't know, 4-inch size or 3-inch, well, I don't even know anymore, honestly. Kind of depends. Like, well, it depends on how much amperage you're using, but if it's a 5-inch quad, it's going to be an XT60 basically. So that is why, that is the difference between balance charging and why it is so important. Because nobody likes catching stuff on fire when they don't mean to. You can quote me on that. You can tweet that. That's a great question, Kyle. Great question. All right, let me catch up to these folks here. We got E.G. Vato says, hi guys. Hi Andy. Are you talking to me? Because my name's not Andy, but that's okay. Hi anyway. He's probably talking to somebody else. Anish, you're welcome. Let's see. EG says, can I put R9M in my FlySky FSI6X in ppm, and how will it work? No. Wait. I don't know. Wait. FlySky R9M? I think somebody already answered you. Cody, thanks for hanging out. You probably left already like a while ago because that was a few minutes ago, but thanks for hanging out, Cody. We'll see you next time. Okay, yeah, let's look at that up really quickly here, because this is how we learn things. I learn a lot of stuff from you folks out there just asking me questions, and I'm like, I don't know, and then I just look it up, and then I learn it. Crazy. So our FlySky, or a Frisky, I keep typing FlySky, a FlySky R9M. Let's look that up. So that is a long-range module. Oh man, that wing is coming along really good. Let's look at that. Maybe if I got fancy, I'd have like a 3D printer cam or something in the future. That wing right there. Oh, I think it's gonna look great. I'm excited. I really hope it doesn't, you know, like fall off of the build plate at like hour 12. That would be so saddening. It almost makes me think it would make sense to like break it up into two pieces, but we shall see. Anywho, here we go. R9M module. So basically, okay, so the question is, can I put an R9M module in my FlySky FSI6X in ppm, and how well will it work? So are you talking about like for a quad or for a airplane and stuff? Because I feel like, I'm thinking if you're doing long range, I think ppm tends to have more lag or latency than like a serial protocol like S-Bus or I-Bus. So I would say that you probably wouldn't want to use ppm, if I'm understanding the question correctly. And also, I think Drone Mesh has a thing about putting a module in the FlySky, in the i6. Yeah, this person right there. I don't know what, I'm not sure what their deal is. Then we have, let's see, let's do this. Let me do that, and then let's just click on this one. Let's see what this is. Don't you give me an ad. Do not do it, YouTube. Don't you dare. Oh, who's that guy? What? Wow. Shameless self-promotion. I love it. Oh my gosh, there's no ad. There actually is not an ad. That is fantastic. Let's watch this for a little bit. I don't know if I'll get a demonetization or something because of it. You never can tell these days, but anywho, so this is a FlySky i6 R9M FlySky test range. So somebody has done it apparently, but you probably knew that. The frame is a 215, 5-inch. Here's all the stuff they're running. Okay, all right. Interesting. So that's 1 kilometer. Kilometer. Wow, look at that. That's pretty cool. Oh, I thought he was going to go for the gap. Oh, man. Okay, where am I here? Okay. Anyway, so that didn't really help us with anything unless they show it later. Nope, there was just like a test flight. So, anyway, answer is... question is... How well will it work? I don't know. I don't know, because I haven't done it. So I'd have to try it, and then I'd let you know. Matt says, what are you printing in the background right now? I am printing a wing. I'm printing the wing for this guy. The wing that's going to go on this right here. Ooh. So this is the sort of nose, or I would call it the fuselage, but sort of the nose of the forthcoming Mini Hawk 5, the MH5 VTOL aircraft, designed and built by Steve Carlson. And I'm doing some test prints. Ooh. Yeah, I'm gonna have to reprint this nose in something else. Actually, well, more on that later, but I'm looking into some different 3D printed materials by 3D Fuel that could be super awesome for this type of design, this sort of aircraft design, because this didn't turn out super great, but I think it's because my filament had too much moisture in it. So like the nose, and you might not be able to see that super well, but the nose is didn't really get covered well, and there's some layer separation, which makes me so sad in my heart. But I think it looks great though with this clear PLA. Looks fantastic, and that is printed in 3D Fuel Pro PLA. Well, the clear stuff is Workday PLA. But anyway, so that's all right. That was that question. Next question from Martin FTP. Does having goggle diversity improve range and reduce blackouts? Super new to this hobby, and I have a budget-friendly Ia-10b EV100, and I'm thinking about a diversity mod. Well, first of all, Martin FTP. I thought that thing just snapped off the build plate. First of all, Martin FTP, welcome to the hobby. We're so glad to have you join us. And you are in the right place, because on RC with Adam, I love helping beginners in the hobby as much as I can. And the question is, does having goggle diversity improve range and reduce blackouts? Answer, yes, it does. Typically what people do is well, let's look at this thing right here, which, well, this isn't really necessarily about diversity, but pardon me. So the answer is yes. And also this person has a Ia-10b EV100. I think it's just straight up 100, which is very budget, very bare bones. I'm not sure which, is there a difference? Which one is it? That one is plus that one. Okay. Yeah, honestly, I mean, I don't know. I haven't tried it. But, well, anyway, I start reviewing like every product that people start talking, and I go way into it, and it's like, I don't need to do that. Anyway, that's what this person is using. And anyway, the answer is yes, and it does help having diversity. Did these actually have diversity? I'm trying to remember if these fat shark, were those fat shark killers, Stu? I don't know. I don't think they turned out to be fat shark killers. I'm just so over people saying that something is a something killer. It's like, oh, this is DJI killer. It's a 5-inch killer. It's like, okay, guys, Not everything has to kill something, okay? It can just be like another good option. But that's kind of the sensationalism I was talking about. Anyway, that's, yeah, all right. So, does this have diversity? That's a great question. And, I mean, that was the question I just asked just now. It's a great question. And, I can't remember if this does or not. If this has actual diversity. Or if it just has dual antennas. Sometimes with goggles, typically more budget goggles, cheaper goggles, let's just say, they might have 2 antennas, but that does not mean that they actually have 2 receivers. So I can't remember. Let's see, what is that? Drone Mesh? Yeah, Drone Mesh. Drone Mesh has some really good mod videos. I appreciate that about his channel, especially for more budget stuff. Good mods. Anyway, sorry. So yes, the answer is yes. The answer is yes. Once again, the short answer is yes. Thinking about a diversity mod. So is that the mod you're thinking about? The Fat Shark module mod or something? Or does it... Yeah, okay. Anyway, on the subject, so yes, basically yes, and if you want to do a mod, yeah, I think that'd be super great. I wouldn't necessarily like feel like you have to if you're just flying around like a yard or pretty close in an area. Don't feel like you have to take your goggles apart right away and do a diversity mod necessarily. But certainly that that probably would improve it. But let's look up VAS antenna mounting. I just on this sort of on this line of thought about antennas and diversity, VAS, video aerial systems. Come on now. Video aerial systems has they make some really good stuff, or at least my understanding. I haven't personally tested a lot of it. I do have one antenna now that I'm trying out, but orientation. But anyway, they have some really good information about that antenna orientation. I heard another crack over there, and I am a little bit scared about that. So hopefully that will work. I mean, hopefully the 3D printer will continue working. So sorry. Anyway, where did it go? It was this one actually. This is a great video. There are plenty of others, but this is a really great video right here. I just watched this recently because I was sort of thinking about like, how should I mount my antenna? And basically he goes through and he just kind of demonstrates why you want to mount your video transmitter antenna vertically and receiver. You want to mount it vertically and not like pointing straight out for best reception. So you kind of want them both to be vertical in that orientation. So anyway, he kind of talks about that, and he also talks about a patch antenna. There's like some kind of diagram here somewhere. Anyway, that's a great video. Go check that out. I would recommend watching that because I think it's really helpful. Talking about receivers and stuff, or video transmission and things, stuff like that. Oh, Luca says RC cars use XT90s. Dang, XT90s, man. That's more than 60. That's quite a bit. XT90s are pretty large. I guess cars would pull a lot of amps because you got big old motors, big old tires and stuff. What were we looking at? Yeah. Next question. Next up. Oh, Mark Butler. Welcome, Mark. Mark says, have you tried the FlySky i-10 transmitter? And the answer is no, I have not. But let's take a look at that, shall we? The FlySky I-10 transmitter. I've looked at these, and here's what's weird about FlySky. Well, there's a few things weird about FlySky, but like they do have several of these other radios, but it's like, why even bother? Because as far as I can tell, the i6, well, the i6 is pretty great. The i6X is better than the i6, in my personal opinion. Excuse me. And then you have the i6S, which is in some ways it's newer than the i6X, but it's definitely their most popular, one of their most popular ones, because it has a touchscreen. And then you have the FS8 and the TH9X and the FS10, and those are the newer ones. I'm not even talking about the older AFHDS ones. So the i10, this person is at Mark is asking about the i10, and the short answer, no, I have not tried it. Much more longer-winded answer is, holy smokes. There's a lot of stuff going on here. There's like a lot of stuff. Now, here's the thing. This is a 10-channel transmitter, which, like, that, okay, so that makes sense, because, like, having more than a 10-channel receiver, like, a 10-channel receiver is, that's a lot of channels. Like, usually a 6-channel receiver is very common for airplanes, and for a quadcopter, a quadcopter you can easily do, what is it, like 14 channels with iBus or something like that, a bunch of channels, more channels than your radio can do in this case, when this is a 10-channel radio, or a lot of FlySky, yes, 10-channel radio is very common. So a 10-channel receiver, you're talking airplanes, but you've got all these switches. Why? And I mean, I'm really wondering, maybe somebody can like tell me why. You have these, let me get a bigger picture here. Whatever, you can see it. You have 1, 2, 3 variable knobs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 switches. 8 switches. But you only have 10 channels. I don't understand that. I don't understand, because so when you have the channels, for anybody who's wondering what I'm talking about, you have 4 channels, like each channel for each stick axis. So like you have your pitch and roll, that's 1 channel for each. So you have 2 channels on your right stick, 2 channels on your left stick. So that's 4 channels, and then you're left over with 6 channels, like aux channels. And so you have 6 channels, but then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. No, you'd have 12. No, sorry, you'd have 11. 11 options for those 6 leftover switches. Or channels, sorry, aux channels. So I don't know what's up with that. But short answer, I haven't used it, and I'm not really interested in it. Also, I don't like the antenna sticking way out the top. I don't know. It just seems weird. It just seems like or not weird, but I mean, it seems, and it doesn't have more channels than like the i6X. And maybe it has other features on the screen. I'm not sure. But then why would you go with the i8 if it only has 8 channels? Like that's a step backward from the i6X. What? Unless there's something I'm missing here, but I mean, you do have some new updates, but that's what it seems like to me. Anyway, Anish asks, what charging amp should I set for charging a 5200 milliamp hour battery? That's a pretty big battery. So charging, the safe thing for charging it, like the safest way to charge it, and what's going to make your battery last the longest, so you're not being mean to your battery, is you would charge that at, well, you could charge it lower, but so 1C would be, it's 5200 milliamp hours, and so if we move the decimal place 2 places, it would be, or I guess 3 places, sorry, it would be 5.2 amps. So 5.2 amps, but here's an important thing. So I'm assuming that if we're talking about, where'd that go? let's go back here. So if we go back to if we go back to this charger that we were talking about here, this could work. So because this has a built-in power supply, the power supply is going to be it's going to be designed to be to supply enough wattage, enough amperage and voltage to allow this to actually charge up to 6 amps. So 6 amps is as high as you can charge. So the amps, that's like how much how would I describe that? That's anyway, 6 amps is the maximum amount of amperage that you can try to pump into the battery while you're charging it. So that's what that 6A means right there. And so in your case, you have a 5200 milliamp hour battery. So that's a 5.2 amp hour battery. Right? Am I right? Or am I... If I'm wrong, somebody please correct me. I'm pretty sure that's correct, though. It's always hard for me to do math on camera, though, but even if it's simple math. But yeah, I believe that would be correct. So 5.2 milliamps, because 5,200 milliamps. That's a pretty big battery. Like for me, for what I've usually flown, like I think like 2,200 milliamps is pretty big, and you could charge that, at 2200, you could charge that at 2.2 amps. But yeah, so you could charge it, wait a minute, let me think about that. I think that means, does that mean it would take 1 hour to charge? Forgive me, my battery brain is not, I'm not super fresh on this right now. But anyway, basically that would be like a safe level of charging. That would be 1C. Charging at 1C, but charging less than that is probably even better for your battery. I think, like, it'll take longer to charge, but say you charge it at like 3 amps, that's more of a sort of like a slow charge, and it will be kind of just more gentle for the battery, I guess you could say. So I think that's correct. Maybe double check that, but I'm pretty sure that would be like 5.2 amps. And so what that means is you would definitely only want to be charging one battery at a time from this battery charger, but it would be able to charge that at 1C. Kyle says or asks, do we need multiple 850 milliamp hour and 75C to find motor? Do we need to multiply? Sorry, do we need to multiply 850 milliamp hour and 75C to find motor amperage? No. I don't think so, or that unless you know something that I don't. So he's asking about 850 milliamp hour and 75C. So the C rating is like the maximum amount of amps that the battery can dump, is sort of what that is based on its, or that's I want to say is that 75 times. That's correct, right? I gotta brush up on my battery stuff and make some videos about this stuff. Anyway, so basically the question: 850 milliamp hour, 75C to find motor amperage. No, not really. Let's see here. Oh yeah, okay. All right, cool. Okay. So motor amperage. Well, typically, like when you look up a motor, well, hopefully it will have some specs on it. So like if we just look up, I don't know, just a motor. Let's look up a iFlight motor. Usually it'll have specs, like if you're trying to figure out what kind of how many amps it's going to pull for the type of ESC that you need. Let's see if this one has some specs. I really hate it when they don't have specs. Yes, good. Okay, so it should have like a test table like this. So they're saying propeller. I hope this is what you're talking about. I think maybe it is. So if you're using a 550 prop, voltage is a 4-cell, and then you're at max throttle. The load, the amperage is, holy smokes, that's really high. Good grief, why is that so high? It's 41 amps. That's a lot of amps, but that's at max throttle. That's like you're maxing it out most of the time. In fact, look, it only starts at 50, which that's a huge difference between 50. That's incredible. But that's why you want an ESC that has like a burst rating that's pretty high. For when you do little punch outs. That's why racing is kind of, if like real deal racing it's really kind of a different, you're looking at different gear and kind of different perspectives, because you're going to be going at like near 100 like all the time. Anywho, so here you can see that they're telling you can get an idea, at least based on the different types of propellers and batteries and stuff, of how many amps you might be pulling. So like if you're at, you probably hover, because we're looking at, look, what we have, grams. That's what, grams per watt. Oh, pull grams. So 565 grams at half throttle, and that's thrust. And so, and you multiply that by 4, and you're looking at 2,000 grams of thrust, roughly. And a quad is your freestyle quad or whatever is probably going to weigh maybe half that, maybe. Anyway, I guess what I'm saying is, so you're only going to be pulling 8.73 amps. So if you're trying to figure out what the amperage is going to be, that's a good way of doing it. I think that might answer that question. I don't know. Ozzy asked, do I recommend Ia-10 EV100 720 something goggles? Yeah, it's cheap. Or which goggles do you recommend? I remember I have Runcam Swift 2. So for goggles, that's a good question, man. So like you're looking for like cheap goggles, because if like we were just looking at the EV100s, I think I do, like, yeah. So like, as I do most of my recommendations and stuff, it's kind of like if a friend, came to me and said, hey, what do you think about this? Do you think I should get this? I want to try and give the best, give the suggestion what I think would give the best sort of experience. And so for these, I would say no, I wouldn't recommend these, the EV100s. It depends on if you're like, if you want that style of goggle. And honestly, I haven't really tried that very much. Probably the next goggles that I get will be this style of goggle, the slimline dual screen type of goggle. I think I have mentioned this before on a previous stream, and I don't know if anything else has really come out that's better, but the Ia-10, it's the 800, it's the 800, I think it's the 800 MD or DM. There's like the latest version. It's a box goggle. Anyway, that's basically what I'm saying, is one of these box goggles. Is it this one? 800D? It might be this one. This is the one that you can take apart and use as just a monitor, which is actually pretty cool. Like, there are definitely cases where I could see how using a monitor would be nice. And also, because sometimes, I don't know if this has a built-in fan. This may not have a fan built in. For that price, it probably doesn't. And so if you're in an environment where it's hot and humid, like in the summertime or something, your goggles may end up fogging up if they're on your head. I've had that happen. And the fan in the little Fat Shark Scouts that I have, I don't think it's really not enough to cut it a lot of the time. So there I could see how it could be good to actually have that off of your head in some cases. And then the DM. Okay, so there's the DM. That's what I was looking at, I think. So this one has a 5-inch screen, and so it's, you know, pretty darn immersive. I think. I haven't used these, but you can see reviews here. What is this? Drone Racer 101. I have not heard of that channel. Anyway, there's some reviews there, and they're marketing hype stuff. And then so the 800 DMs, I thought these were kind of cool because they look pretty darn like more slimline, kind of smaller, which is kind of good and kind of bad in some cases. Depends on how much you're traveling with them. They are supposed to have diversity. I think it's true diversity. So I think it's 2 receivers, but you can slide the screen in and out, which I think is cool because otherwise for box goggles, you usually don't have much ability to adjust stuff. So I would look at either of those, either the EV800D or the EV800DMs. This is a 3-inch screen though, so it's going to be less immersive, and I don't know, I don't know if it won't look as good or what the deal is, but I think those look like some pretty good options for a sub $100 box goggle. And honestly, I don't think there are any good options for like a sub 100 or maybe even like a sub 200 what do you call it? Like a slim there's got to be a better name for those. Well, Fat Shark style goggles is basically what people call them. Fat Shark style goggles. Which is kind of too bad. I wish there was some kind of other option. And the thing is like I do want to try and get the Fat Shark style goggles, but the tricky thing is like I really want to try them out first before I spend like a bunch of money on a nice set of goggles. And honestly, at this point, I'm kind of thinking like, you know, if I was gonna buy, because like let's look at, you know, what do we have here? Fat Shark, or do they sell Fat Shark? Does Banggood sell Fat Shark? They do. Okay. So Fat Shark, Dominator, HDO2s. I don't know what the most recent ones are. I can't keep track of them. It seems like they're always coming out with something. But so like these ones, or I think there's even some new Ia-10 goggles. The Ia-10, I don't know, goggles. Let's just look up goggles. There's like the new ones that were supposed to be pretty fancy. These guys, the EV300s, I think these are actually supposed to be competing with the Fat Shark HDOs. They have like that OLED or OLED display. I mean, it seems pretty cool. These seem pretty legit, but then I have to ask myself, well, do I want to spend like almost $500? I know it's $429, but it probably, with extras and shipping and stuff, it'd probably be closer to $500. Round it up to $500. Do I want to spend $500 on analog goggles, or do they have DJI stuff on Banggood? I don't know, but we're gonna find out. Or do I want to spend... Oh wow, those are only $529. Holy smokes! Or do I want to spend, you know, a little bit more and get the DJI goggles? Now, of course, you have to buy so you have the DJI goggles. Here I am going on a tangent again. It's so fun. The DJI goggles for $529. I mean, look, that's not chump change. I'm not saying like, oh well, you may as well just, you know, well, that is actually what I'm saying. I am saying that if you're going to spend a lot on goggles, because $500 on goggles is a lot, and I know goggles are super important because you wear them on your face and that's how you do FPV, but that's still a lot of money. So if you're going to go ahead and spend like almost $500, you may as well get into the digital age, although I am not a fan of DJI, kind of just on principle and kind of just because I like being a rebel. But DJI is the only one that I know of right now that actually has like a good digital FPV system, and it's supposed to be amazing. And I am totally agree that, like, yeah, analog video sucks. Like it's familiar and it works, but like really the cameras are like, it's all blurry. Even with the best cameras, like it's quite blurry. You can't see stuff. The lighting conditions really matter. Anyway, so the point is, you know, I would probably rather spend another $100, get into the digital game, and get, I guess, what is this, Air Unit, or the, what is it, Cadex Vista. It's a little cheaper, Cadex Vista. So I think the Air Unit is for the transmitter as well, and that's where you really end up spending some money, because here they're showing, you know, drop $1,200 for the whole setup, which is what I think a lot of new people, I guess, I mean, hey, if you got the money to burn, if you got the money to spend on it, you know, go for it, and, you know, more power to you. But I think a lot of people getting into the hobby that want to get into like Cinewhoops and stuff, it's like they see this and they think that like that, like they don't realize that the analog stuff has been around and it's like way cheaper, and a lot of people are used to that, and then this is the new thing, but they're just like, well, I guess that's just what it costs. But anyway, just a funny little anecdote thing there. But yeah, so the Cadex Vista, so you need to get that as well. So that is something, like, it's, you know, you'd kind of be sort of crossing over into a new world. And then you would still want to get, which I have not researched, but you would want to get the DJI digital, the analog adapter. Is that what that is? No, where's the, I don't know. I'm not sure, but you would want to get you would want to have the ability to also use analog. So then you could just use those goggles. So, and for the record, those goggles do look really stupid, and they're very large. They look incredibly stupid. Okay, anyway, after all of that tangent, that's what I think about that. Okay. All right. So, all right. And EG Vato says, yes, I saw the drone mesh video. I just want to know if it's worth it. Yeah, I mean, I would say if you are flying around, and so we're talking about the diversity mod to the goggles, to the Eachine EV100s. If you are flying around and you notice that like your video signal is just really bad and it's really dropping out a lot, and you've updated the antennas, get different antennas, because these back here, I think these are just stick antennas, which are terrible. These dipole, oh, where is it? These come on now. There we go. These guys, the dipole antennas, get rid of those. Don't use those dipoles. The dipoles are not, they're like notorious for being not very good. Like they're okay at very short ranges, but otherwise not very good. So get yourself like a Lumineer, I always forget how to spell it. Lumineer, Axi. Is it AX? I don't know how to spell. Yeah, get yourself something like this, like a Lumineer Axi, maybe even something like that. One of those really tall ones. I think the really tall thing, I think that makes a lot of sense. But something like this, a Lumineer Axi, omnidirectional antenna. You could also put a patch antenna on there as well. But I think just doing that, just swapping out the receivers, will probably help a lot. So I would say try it, fly it. If you feel like it's really not working good, even with a new antenna, then yeah, go for that mod, give it a shot. But I don't know how much it costs to do the mod though, because if it costs a lot to get like the module and then you're kind of stuck with that, then it's like, well, shoot, maybe you should just wait and then upgrade your goggles to something that is, I don't know, more something that would work better as kind of an overall package. I mean, that would have better screens as well. Okay. All right, we're almost going to wrap it up here in just a little bit, but I want to answer a few more questions. I think we talked about pretty much everything. Oh, we didn't do any flight footage. We're going to have to save that for next time, the flight footage, and we're going to be talking more, I guess, about the Cinewhoop that I built and sort of some of the problems. We'll see. We'll have some videos coming out on that as well soon, but we'll have to do the flight footage next time. Let's see. Matt says a 2000 milliamp hour battery is 2 amp hours. Excuse me, is a 2 amp hour battery. If you charge it at 2 amps, it will take 1 hour to fully charge. Thank you. Yes, that's correct. So If you if you charge at 1C, it will take 1 hour. Yeah, I think that's how it works. Yeah, it'll take an hour to charge. If you charge at 1C. If you charge less than that, it's going to take longer. So that's why you generally want to have multiple batteries if you're talking about quadcopters and stuff. So then you can be charging them as you fly, or while you're flying, something like that. Martin FTP says, "Can you share your go-to rates for your quads?" Yes, I can. Well, sort of. I sort of can. Maybe. I had those in a folder here somewhere. Let me find them for you. Well, oh shoot, are these? How recent are these? Let me check. Let me see here. 731, 727. All right. I don't know if these are my go-to rates. This should give you an idea. I don't have my quad handy to just hook up right here, but this is this what I was flying? Okay, my apologies. I'm still actually kind of tweaking my rates right now, because I'm kind of moving towards, I'm playing around with them. Like, I'm playing around with the throttle curve. This would be for my freestyle quadcopter, the Budget Basher. It's a 5-inch freestyle quad, but kind of playing around with the different rates. These are really low rates because I was focusing on smooth, sort of cinematic type of flight. So I'm still playing around with those, but I am using the actual rates and giving those a try, or the actual rate system, I should call it. And so that's kind of what it looks like. I like to have a decent amount of expo, like kind of a lot of expo, and then so I like it to be pretty smooth towards the middle, and then even the maximum rates probably is I usually, I max out the roll. I have the roll be the most, and then pitch, and then yaw. And so for roll, it's going to be maxed out probably around 600 degrees per second. So about, well, let's see, because like 720 would be. So yeah, about 600 degrees per second, I would say is pretty good. I don't like doing super fast rolls and flips and stuff. That's not my style, and I just I'm not a fan of that, and so I don't really need that. And basically I just want it to be fast enough so that I could, if I hit a tree and then like I was inverted, I could very quickly flip myself over and catch myself before I hit the ground. So that's kind of the idea. So those are sort of what my rates look like right now, sort of. Once I kind of play around with them and stuff, we'll have more information on my rates for that. Dante asks, what brand battery would you recommend? I really like Tattoo. I've flown Tattoo quite a bit. Tattoo's good. Race Day Quads is good. And let's see, what do we have here? So we have let's do 4-cell batteries. Yeah, I would say like whatever Race Day Quads carries, it's going to be good. But I like the Race Day Quads brand battery. Those are great. I like Tattoos. I haven't used the R line. The R line is like the super racer steroid edition. But just the regular Tattoos, I've flown those. Really, I mean, a lot of the batteries that I have are like 3 or 4 years old, which is kind of scary, actually. I need some new batteries. Somebody please send me new batteries, because they're starting to be on their last leg. And batteries, let me just tell you, batteries are an investment. If you're good to your batteries, because you might just crash them and just destroy them. And I've done a fair amount of crashing. But if they last you a while, if they last you a while, they'll last you a while, which that's not very helpful. But I mean, I have batteries that are several years old, and they still perform pretty well, but typically the performance is going to diminish as you use them. So I did just get a China Hobbyline battery. I haven't been able to tell really any difference in the performance. A big part of it is actually the form factor. Like the Race Day Quads batteries that are 4-cell, they're pretty fat, They're like pretty large, the 1500 milliamp hour version, compared to a similar battery that, you know, it might be the same milliamp hours, but it's a different form factor. So maybe it's like longer and like kind of stretched out or kind of skinnier, which might fit your quadcopter better. And then you can also get like where are they? You can get like these ones, like these square ones. Well, that's a 1600. You can get like sort of square shaped ones. Those are popular with racers. And yeah, so some of them are just like really gigantic. Also, another difference is another thing that will make a difference is the C rating as well. Because if it has a higher C rating, generally it's like the batteries are constructed differently, so it becomes bulkier essentially. Basically. So yeah, race day quads, tattoo, and then maybe like the China hobby line batteries. And then I haven't tried these. I don't know what these are. It might be worth a try. But probably anything the race day quad sells is gonna be good. Yeah, Lucas says the air unit is $150 though. Yeah. It is. Oh, did I finish what I was talking about that? So the air unit is I did, I think. The air unit is going to be for video and transmitter control, I believe. I think I got lost. Okay, I don't know. I'm not going to try and find that window again. And yeah, so like, yes, it is expensive, but at least kind of it's sort of nice in the sense that it sort of replaces having to have two different items. But yeah, it's expensive. Well, and a camera. So I mean, yeah, you know, and it's a digital, you know, got all that fancy dancy stuff. So maybe that's good. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it's fun. It's great to fly, you know. Frag says, I used some Sunny Sky Diversity FPV goggles borrowed from a friend that were rather nice. No idea on price though. Sunny Sky. I don't know of any goggles that they make. Isn't that like a budget brand? Or not a budget, I mean, isn't that kind of like the no-name brand on Amazon? It may be. I don't know. Of course, there's probably another manufacturer manufacturing different goggles, and they just put their different, you know, branding on it. So, let's see. Oh, okay. Wait, what was that question from originally? Oh, okay, yeah. All right, so Kyle says, let's see. So Kyle says, asking about whether we have to, because before he said, another question, do we need to multiply the 850 milliamp hours times 75C to find motor amperage? Okay, and then he clarifies, so he says looking at the Ia-10b Tyro 109 drone, but don't know which battery will be okay for it. So, or I think, was that the question? Maybe there's a different question. Sorry if I missed that. But anyway, what battery will be okay for it? Yeah, like I would for the 109. What is the 109? The 109 Tyro 109. Is that what size is that? 99. Man, why is it so hard to find this? Like, Tyro 109. Does it really have to be one word? There we go. Okay, so that is a 210 5-inch. Yeah, I would go with like a 1300 milliamp hour 4-cell or a 1500 milliamp hour 4-cell. I typically fly it with 1500 milliamp hour 4 cells. You'll get a little bit more flight time, but it is going to make the quadcopter heavier. So, you know, it's kind of your call. It also depends on what's going to fit better on here. Yeah, probably, you know, I mean, a 1300 would be good as well. A lot of times they're kind of like the same price. So if you want a little bit more flight time for like this kind of the same amount of money of the battery, then it's like, well, you may as well go with like a 1500. They're similar in price usually. So, Ozzy, you're welcome. Luca says, what are amps? That's a good question. I'm not going to answer that right now. But, well, basically you have volts and you have amps. And I don't have a good analogy off the top of my head at the moment. to explain that, but we will talk more about that. I want to do a whole battery sort of electricity beginner series, so hopefully we'll be seeing that in the near future. Let me see here. I want to make sure we get all of this. Oh, Dante asks, Martin FTP, you are welcome. Would you recommend Banggood ZOP 4S batteries? All right, I just got to check this out. ZOP 4S. ZOP. No. I would not. Personally, I wouldn't buy Banggood, or I don't buy batteries from Banggood. And I would definitely be hesitant to buy sort of an off-brand of battery. You know, I don't know. It might be good. I definitely have my doubts, though. There's a lot of... It's pretty unregulated in terms of the battery manufacturing and stuff. So it's like they can make all kinds of crazy claims about like how good the battery is, or you know, that sort of thing. So generally, no, I would not recommend it. But not because I know that they're bad. It's just because I don't know if they're good, I guess that's why I was saying. Oh yeah, and I guess I did just do that. And yeah, I don't know which one you were looking at exactly, but yeah, the ZOP looks like you have different types of ones. There's that one, and then there's that one. Yeah, so 45C. I mean, if that's the only place you can get the batteries from, I don't know. Can you get tattoo batteries on here? I mean, I'm telling you, man, I really think, I know I'm a pretty cheap guy. I'm a pretty budget guy, but I really think that if you can, like, let's see, what is this? A 4-cell. If you can spend a few extra dollars and get a good quality battery, I think it's really going to be worth it, is what I'm trying to say. So they claim 100C. That's pretty darn high. A high C rating, 1500 milliamp hour 4S. So do they have tattoos? Do they sell tattoo batteries here? Is it 1 or 2? It's 2. It's 2 T's. Tattoo 4S. Let's just look up the tattoo. I know they don't sell RDQ stuff here. Tattoo 4S, just the normal ones, like 4. Okay, so what did we say? It was a 1500. This is a 1550. Oh shoot, what was the price on that one? Oh wow, $15. Well, I guess it's on sale. They're saying normally it's $27. That seems way too cheap. That just seems like really, really cheap. But anyway, so let's say so 1300 milliamp hour, which I think would be fine. I've flown 1300s quite a bit. And you know, it's $31. So yes, I mean, compared to the on sale one, it's like twice as much. So I could see what the draw would be, but you're gonna get better quality. You're gonna get better quality connector, better quality wiring. Usually with the tattoo stuff, it's like very nice silicone wiring, so it's not gonna break or get or crack or anything like that. And I think they're just built really well. And typically, the nicer batteries are kind of more compact and stuff, or at least that's what I found. So that's what I would say. I would say, you know, maybe buy one and try it out, but generally I think it's much better to actually you know, to actually spend the money spend the money, spend your hard-earned cash and buy a good battery. Also, try to be nice to the battery. Don't overcharge it. Don't charge it too fast, and try not to smash it into a house or something like that. Luca says, Luca says, I have seen an RC channel who really liked ZOP powers for his RC cars. So yeah, I don't know. I personally, I'd have to try it. Honestly, battery testing, like battery, testing and stuff, can be sort of very subjective. I mean, it definitely depends on your application. It depends on the type of motors you're using. It depends on the type of propellers you're using. So it can be kind of tricky to really tell. But yeah, like I said, maybe buy one maybe compare it, maybe buy one cheap one and one good one and compare the two, something like that. Something like that. All right, everybody, I think that is going to do it. That's going to do it for today. Thanks so much for hanging out. I had a great time answering your questions. And if you have other questions as an RC beginner or stuff about RC airplanes or that sort of thing, maybe even through some 3D printing stuff, I don't know, leave them in the comments below in this video or in other videos, and maybe we can cover them in the future. I think that's it, and we will have more. Yeah, well, you'll see regular stuff coming out, and no, I think that's gonna do it. Oh, and you will be seeing updates on the 3D printed Mini Hawk 5. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching, everybody. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you again very soon.